I wish I could begin this with something simpler, something lighter. But my story starts with a storm I created. If you stay until the end, you might understand why it happened or decide you never will. Either way, I have to tell it, because the truth can't stay hidden forever. 16 years. That's how long my affair lasted. 16 years of secrets, stolen moments, and a life divided in two. When I married Eric, I believed it was forever. He was my rock, my protector, and the man I thought I'd grow old with. But sometimes, love isn't enough to keep the darkness at bay. It began with Daniel, Eric's brother. He was everything Eric wasn't: spontaneous, daring, and effortlessly charming. Where Eric was steady and predictable, Daniel was a whirlwind that swept me off my feet. At first, it was innocent. Family dinners, casual conversations, shared jokes that lingered a little too long. But one night, everything changed. Eric had gone to bed early, and Daniel and I stayed up, sitting on the porch with a bottle of wine between us. The air was heavy with unspoken tension, and when his hand brushed against mine, I didn't pull away. We kissed that night, a kiss that set fire to everything I thought I knew about loyalty and love. In the beginning, it was thrilling. The secrecy, the danger, the way Daniel made me feel alive in a way I hadn't in years. But as time went on, the thrill gave way to something deeper, something harder to ignore. We weren't just having an affair, we were falling in love. Every holiday, every family gathering, every shared glance across the room felt like a secret we carried together. And yet, I stayed with Eric. I told myself it was for the kids, for the life we had built, for the stability I couldn't bear to destroy. But deep down, I knew I was lying to myself. The guilt was a constant companion. Every time Eric held my hand, every time he told me he loved me, I felt like I was suffocating under the weight of my deceit. But I couldn't stop. Daniel was a part of me now, a part I couldn't let go of no matter how much it tore me apart. Then came the moment that shattered everything. I discovered I was pregnant. The joy I should have felt was overshadowed by a chilling realization. The baby wasn't Eric's. It was Daniel's. And for the first time, the full weight of my actions came crashing down on me. I tried to hide it. I told myself I could keep the secret forever, that Eric would never have to know. But secrets have a way of surfacing, and mine was no exception. One evening, as I was putting away laundry, Eric came into the room, his face pale and his hands trembling. He had found the texts, hundreds of them, spanning years. There was no denying it anymore. "How long?" he asked, his voice breaking. I couldn't lie. 16 years. The silence that followed was unbearable. Eric looked at me like I was a stranger, like he didn't even know the woman standing in front of him. And maybe he didn't. Maybe I didn't either. When I told him about the baby, his face crumpled. He sank to the floor, his hands covering his face. And I've never felt more like a monster. The man who had given me everything, who had trusted me with his heart, was broken because of me. Eric confronted Daniel the next day. The fight that erupted was unlike anything I'd ever seen. Words were said that could never be taken back, and the bond between brothers was destroyed in an instant. Our family was ripped apart, and it was all my fault. In the aftermath, I was left with nothing but the wreckage of my choices. Eric moved out, taking the kids with him. Daniel and I tried to make it work, but the weight of what we had done was too much. The love we had once shared became poisoned by guilt and regret, and eventually, we drifted apart. Now, I'm alone, haunted by the consequences of my actions. I think about Eric every day, about the life we could have had if I had made different choices. I think about the child growing inside me, a reminder of everything I've lost, and everything I've taken from the people I love. I don't tell this story to seek forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But maybe, just maybe, someone out there will hear this and think twice before making the same mistakes I did. Because the truth is, love isn't always enough. And sometimes, the cost of chasing a fleeting feeling is more than you're willing to pay.